So hello guys, so to this video I'm going to teach you on how to create a system with Flask, sqlalchemy and Flask Restful. So to open our to create our system, we're using VS Code or IDE, and we're then you need to open it and create the file, and I named the file tutorial. Then PyCatch is a Python interpreter when it it imports our module. Next is the env. So env is contains our credential in a key value format for services used by program or or our system. So next is instant. Instance is where you can use to store system or environment specific information files that should not be included in the version control, such as database connection details, secrets key, or API keys. Next is the our template. So templates is where contains of the front end of our system and using HTML to write our interface. Then next is the app.py or app Python. So in this file is where we can write our code for functioning of our system. So first block of code is where you can input your modules. So Flask is the main module of our system created, and then render plate is used to render HTML templates and redirect and URL for use for redirection, and request is used to handle HTTP request, and plus sqlalchemy is for database operation. Then plus Restful is a library for creating Restful API. So next is I create the secret key is set for secret key for session security, debug, and testing are set to false to run app in production mode, and sqlalchemy base URI defines a database URI, in this case using SQLite, and sqlalchemy track modification is set for false to disable Flask sqlalchemy modification tracking. Then in this line of block of code is a instance for sqlalchemy class is created to interact with our database, and it is initialized with the Flask application object, and Flask Restful is a class also created to using Flask application. Next is this, in this class is where I create the database, a table of the database called department, and is defined a subclass of database model, then provided by sqlalchemy, and then it has three columns. id is an integer for primary key, not primary key, and it's set to true, and version is a unique null string, and department is a for it's a for non null string. Next is another class that represents our resources for retrieving all departments, and it is a subclass for resources for provide plus Restful and get method queries all departments from database and construct a list and department dictionaries and return it to JSON. And and for the list is we're using the department. So you in this area you create the department to what you can put in the department, or try to contain the what are you gonna do to put the text into database. And and also in department, and it contains the ID, the abbreviation and department. And then next is the API add resources uh, to associates the view department resources class with the API view department's URL, making it accessible through the plus RESTful API. Next is the class view department resources. So in this class is represents for resources for retrieving a specific department. Its abbreviation is also the EBR part represents a dynamic parameter in the URL, allowing access to department details through API. So next is the API add resources to in this line is view. No, it associates the department resource for class with the API view department abbreviation URL pattern to abbreviation part represents for dynamic URL allows to access the department data through API. Next is the class add department resources. So in this class, for adding a new department, it also inherits from resources. That post method retrieves JSON data from the request create a new department's instance with the provide abbreviation with department, adds it to the base session, commits the changes, it returns to success message to JSON. Next is this area is API add resource for add department resource class with API add department URL, making it accessible through the process pool API. The next is class department, class delete department. So where you can delete the the department that you input in the you that trying to put in the database, and if you want to delete, and this is the function. So this class is represent for deleting department and inherits from resources. The post method receives the department ID as a parameter, retrieves the department from database or database or return 400 for error. If not found, deletes the department from database session and commits the changes. It returns a success message to JSON. Next is the API addresses for deleting department. So in this line, in this line associates the delete department resource class with the API delete departation and URL pattern. The department ID represents dynamic parameter in URL allowing access to delete specific department through API. So in this line of code here is a uproot for plus application. Then in this code is defined as a root for the URL for slash when in a user access this URL, the index function is called and it always retrieves the department from the database using the department query all. Then after that the method and passes them to the index HTML template using the render templates, and then template will be display the departments. Next is the uproot, which is the add department. So in this code defines the root for add department. When the user access this URL, the add department function is called. If the request method is post, it means that the user has submitted for the page, and then it all retrieves the function values entered to the form abbreviation and department. It creates a new department object for with those values added to the database session and commits the changes, and it will direct to the user or root or user to the index root. If the request method is get, it means that the user is access to page, so the function renders to add department dot html template. Next is this line of code. So in this code is root to edit department. Then in this root integer department ID and in part of the root is the dynamic parameter, so that represents the ID of the department edited, the edit department. Function retrieves all retrieves the department to be edited. That no, it's all retrieves from department with the given ID from the database using department query or 404. If the request method post, it means the user submitted the edited form to function updates the department abbreviation and department fields based on the from data, commits the changes, and it will redirect to the user index. If the request method is get, It means the user accesses the page to review the form, so the function renders the edit department that HTML, which is the templates here. Here, templates are passes to department object with a template. Next is this code is defines a root for view department. Part of the root is the dynamic parameter request of ID of department view. Function retrieves the department with the given ID database using data query. It then renders the view and the view department is that HTML defines past the department object of the templates. Here in the line of code, it's that this code in this line of code or block is the root for updating department. So what are the integer that will go to update department is the what he gets is the department ID, and it will the method we're using is the post. So in this root is the dynamic parameter represent the ID for department to be updated. The updated department functions retrieves all the department with given ID. So department ID from the database using department query get or 404, then updates the department's abbreviation and department fields based on the form data sent via post request, and then change the commit in the database and use it to redirect index root. So next is the root for deleting department. So if delete department ID, it will root for dynamic parameter represent ID for department deleting. So in this function is retrieves all the data of the department by giving the ID from database using department get query, department get query or 404 department ID. Then it deletes the department from database session, commits the changes to user to finally redirect the index root. So next is the last block code is the code for the script being execute the main module if this create all the database tables by calling create database that create all within the Flask context. It starts to Flask development server by calling the uprun debug true, enabling the debug mode to show the details error message during development. So after that install you type the Python venv and then my in venv. Next is to install our Flask. So here's what you're going to type in the terminal. Just write the code, write the command of pip install Flask. So hit enter. It says that we already the install the Flask. So if we type again, it will say dissatisfied. So these are the package all, and then after that, if we want to run our system, just type the Python and the name of the file of our Python here. So the name of the file of the Python is app.py app.py. So it will run into running HTTP address. So just control and hit a click. So it will direct in here. So this is our interface of our system. As you can see, uh, the they are they're one of what you call this. I already added one uh, name or name and department into the database. Then it will appear into department. So if we add another student and write, if you want to add the student, you write the abbreviation name. So it says Janice, then department IT major or CED department. So if we add the if we click the add button, this abbreviation department will go to the database and it will appear in here the department. So let's say if we want to change the name of the inside of the database, if you want to change the name of the student in the database, because if you have a wrong you enter the wrong name, or just just whatever you want to change in the her name, or they're not, they are not completed the name. So you need to edit, just go to edit, and then it will appear the interface for edit department. So it says that Janice De Leon, then update. So as you can see, the name of our we put in the database will change. I will uh the name that we added into Janice De Leon, we will change the name in here the department because we edit it. So what if what you want to view? So these are the department details. So view, here you can see the abbreviation Janice De Leon and department, CD department, and you want to go back to the main updated main interface of the system. Then and then it will go back to the main. Then if you want to delete a data into the or a student in the department, just delete, just click the delete, and then the name will be disappear in the departments the record. So that's it. That's how to create a system with Flask, Restful, and plus SQL Alchemy. So thank you.